Hi, my name's Mare Cromwell, and this is the recap of the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid of 2021 on October 23rd. First off, a little background about me, for those who don't know me. I am a Gaia Mystic and High Priestess, Gaia High Priestess. I have a number of award-winning books, two of which are conversations with Mother Gaia that she wants the world to have right now, Earth Mother, Mother Gaia. I'm also a healer and a visionary, and I teach the Great Mother Love Way course, and I do other webinars, et cetera, et cetera. My work with Mother Gaia went very deep, very fast. In June 2012, 4 days after being diagnosed with lymphoma. And Mother's energy and consciousness were brought into my energy body in a ceremony with a gifted Algonquin medicine man. And Mother started talking to me immediately at the end of this ceremony, very clearly, and told me that if I surrendered to her to the extent she would ask me to surrender, she would help me heal from the cancer that I was diagnosed with without the doctors. And I wrote my first book with her that summer, Messages from Mother, Earth Mother, in 5 weeks. It was very fast, lots of intensive listening and ceremony. And then she had me get it out really fast right after that. And I had many adventures since. I was clear of the lymphoma, other than just one slightly enlarged lymph node, by mid-fall of 2013, about 15 months later. So Mother also asked me to write the Great Mother Bible with her. And the message for that from her came in the fall of 2013 at 5 in the morning. She loves to get me up at 5 in the morning with messages and instructions and wants me to do this, with love, but she's pretty insistent. And so that book came out in, it was written mostly in the winter of 2014 with lots and lots of ceremony and waking up at 4:30 every morning, pretty intense. And I resisted writing that second book with Mother because she wanted the word Bible in the title. And I was like, I can't do that, Mother. That's like too big of a word. I can't write a book with Bible in the title. And she just kept on saying, yes, you can. You're the one. All you need to do is listen. You're the one. And so Mother asked me to do projects and events, and I have surrendered to serve her. And this is the deal, is in surrendering to serve her, she has been helping me in numerous, countless ways grow spiritually, of course, and also all these amazing miracles where my car went an extra 110 miles on full shortly after that first ceremony where she was brought into my energy body. Numerous other miracles. It's just really humbling. And the only way I can do this work so publicly is because several gifted Native American elders have all confirmed that Mother Gaia is my mentor, and I'm speaking for her and working for her. They can feel her energy within me. And one gifted Shoshone elder, Benny LeBeau, called me the voice of Earth Mother. And those who might know who he is, he went by the names Blue Thunder and Rainbow Thunderheart. He passed over in 2016, miss him still, although I work with him on the spirit plane at times. And Woody Vaspra, who is an Hawaiian elder and co-founder of the World Council of Elders, told me that my work with Mother is in the prophecies, the native prophecies. So my work with Mother, and I'm going to use that word work a lot, is I also work with her foremost councils. It's not just her. And this takes a bit of courage to do this report, because I'm going to be sharing more than I normally share in a public forum like this. Yet she doesn't want me to hide in the closet anymore. And I want to let you know that the reason my hair is this short is because this time last year I was doing chemotherapy for being diagnosed with lymphoma again. And last summer, a year ago, Mother told me right after I was diagnosed, and I was freaking out, that this was only a bump in the road, this lymphoma phase that had come back, and that I had far more work to do in the physical planes. So here I am in early November of 2021, feeling far better, far stronger, extremely grateful for all the support from friends and spirit teams and total strangers even who donated to my healing adventure GoFundMe, which I called my cancer journey. I call it my healing adventure. There's so much I could write about that. It could be a whole other book. Anyway, so these councils that I'm connected with, that Mother is a huge part of, or coordinates, so to speak, is one is based more within Mother's multidimensional realms. And that council is made up of representatives from the planetary dragons, the nature spirits, the stone people, the standing ones, as in the tree plant kingdom and more. And then some other representatives from other very sacred groups within the planet's multidimensional zones that I'm not allowed to talk about. Then there's another council, it's actually a set of councils that are made up of a divine feminine and divine masculine councils that work together. And they are what I call Una and Un's councils, and that's OONA and then OON councils. And they're in the spiritual planes off planet in the universal realms. They're not based right here within the Earth's multidimensional realms. And these councils, Una and Un's councils, are made up of the family of one. They're very focused on Earth right now to help us reach full ascension. This is very critical because when it really takes place here, it will ripple out through the entire universe, as I have understood this, and I keep on hearing, yes, 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 that's true, in the spirit planes. So the Virgin Mary sits on the Divine Feminine Council. I give a lot more information about them in the free visualization activation on my website. It's also on the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid website. It's the Gaia's Oneness Grid. You learn more about Una and Un's councils and family of one, and actually work with their luminous love energies. It's very beautiful. And then there are other councils that I tap into and I'm guided by at times that are all ones that Mother is a part of. So again, I'm going kind of full Monty here. This is pretty bold of me, but Mother's saying it's time. My work is to walk a path of humility and love. Humility and love to help midwife our new Earth coming in, which is coming in gangbusters now. And I live by this credo, Mother has a plan. I just listen and show up and help manifest her plan. She loves to get me up really early in the morning. She's told me in the past few weeks, I'm not allowed to sleep in anymore. She has a lot for me to do. And if she told me the whole plan from the get-go, I'd be completely overwhelmed and probably say to her, no, 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 I'm walking away. I'm just going to go back to the gardening business I used to have. But she doesn't give me the whole plan because she knows me better than that. So she gives me tidbits of guidance to move forward on her plan, as in the greater plan and the pieces of her plan. So what I do is all in alignment with what is for her highest good, her divine plan in the birthing of the new Earth. And with this work, I also listen to the nature spirits, the trees, the stones. They take turns talking with me, so I'm not overwhelmed. It's not like 1,000 voices at once that I hear when I go outside. Thank you guys for not overwhelming me with that. And there are many, many adventures I've continued to have, holes I've fallen into, and I've gotten out of, teachers and teachings. It's ongoing. And I also have been really blessed, and again, part of my Mother's plan, to be working with other people who are part of her team as I look at it, who she wants me to work with closely, be they guardians or love workers. I use that term instead of light workers. And truthfully, I'm really just a former worm herder who had a gardening business for many years, used to work internationally and doing environmental work before that, and finally surrendered to my soul contract work. And I'm still surrendering. It's an ongoing process. And there's so much I don't know. And I do have a first book that came out. I've written 3 books. They're all award-winning. There's a vulture that's flying overhead. My first book's called If I Gave You God's Phone Number. It's based on interviews with people. So I've been, let's say, drawn, or my soul contract has been to really explore these dimensions of communicating to the spiritual realm, serving the highest good. Oh, right. And so this bandaid on my face, on my nose, and very little makeup. Normally I put a little eyeliner on, but whatever. 2 days after the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, that Monday, I had a skin cancer lump removed and plastic surgery right across my nose. I won't bore you with, like, here's the line. If you'd seen me a few days ago, there would have been stitches. If you'd seen me 10 days ago, my face really looked like a mess. My poor eye on one side, and bandages. So hence, this is why this Band-Aid's here. But Mother's like, the show must go on. So I'm doing this report. Here we are. So a little background about the Thousand Goddesses Gathering. The Thousand Goddesses Gathering is based upon a Tibetan prophecy that when 1,000 goddesses or Tibetan Taras unite, the tone of our sacred earth will shift from fear to compassion. And I first found out about this prophecy because of Tree Sisters. There was mention of it, and Claire Dubois brings it up a lot as a way to invite women to come together to donate to reforest the planet, which is beautiful work. And as soon as I read that on Facebook in late fall 2015, Mother said to me, and Mare, was to organize that in the physical, 1,000 goddesses together in the physical. At least that's how I interpret it, but I knew she wanted a physical event. And so I thought we were going to do that in 2017, which would give me and another partner about 1.5 years to plan it. It was going to be at a retreat center. We were going to have vendors and tickets, and it was going to be great. It was going to be financially supporting itself. But oh no, Mother has a plan. So in late July 2016, Mother woke me up at 5, her way, and asked me to organize the first Thousand Goddesses Gathering on the Washington Mall, and not to do a retreat center and not wait till the next year. She wanted it on the Washington Mall before the elections that fall. So I'm like, okay, kind of gulped. And she said October 24th was the date, 2016. She gave me less than 3 months to organize it. But yeah, Mother has a plan. And so all the right volunteers, donors came forward. There are some bumps along the road in organizing that, but that's okay. I got a park permit really fast, much faster than what other people said I was going to have as far as turnaround with the Park Service. And we had high ceremony. We did high ceremony with a remarkable Oshun High Priestess named Yeye Omi Leye. She came up from North Carolina with her husband and daughter. And during that ceremony, toward the end, a massive conduit of white luminous light poured into the Washington Mall right where we were. And some gifted light workers / love workers saw it. And it was a tremendous amount of energy, white luminous light. And it cleared denser energies from the center of DC, 3 miles out from where we were, which includes the White House, the Capitol building, and the Pentagon. A woman who worked at the Pentagon contacted me 2 weeks after the event, after I'd sent out a spiritual report from that day, and said that she had noticed far less shadow masculine behavior in the Pentagon. So I had no idea that's what was going to happen. Again, Mother has a plan. So in 2018, we did the same approach. It was a different type of ceremony, but again, high ceremony on the Washington Mall. That 3rd October of that year, 2018. And we had several different priestesses and a divine masculine team. And the priestesses led different ceremonies, invoking Mary Magdalene and etc. Not to say etc. to the goddesses, sorry, not to be disrespectful. And then we had a divine masculine team and a beautiful couple from California, Diana and Michael McKelzadek, led a knighting ceremony, quote unquote knighting ceremony, to ask the wounded masculine to step into their divine masculine self. And several men stepped forward to receive that, representing the masculine. And people were crying at the end of that particular piece of ceremony during the day. It was really beautiful. And again, there was a massive conduit of white luminous light that came in from the great central sun and cleared dense energies again. uh, in the center of DC. And that place on the Washington Mall at Constitution Gardens is still, I can tune in right now and kind of feel it is still reverberating at these high spiritual frequencies. It's still activated there, kind of wild. So after that ceremony in 2018, in October, I got permission from Mother and the teams that I didn't need to organize another in-person ceremony on the Washington Mall. It's a tremendous amount of work, logistics, huge, huge, huge. I was like, phew, thank you. So the events on the Washington Mall has evolved into a global grid of divine feminine ceremonies, holding true to the Tibetan prophecy of shifting the tone of the earth from fear to compassion, and also amplifying Gaia's oneness grid. And this is a spiritual grid of our earth that humans are invited to focus on to help raise the energies on earth, clear the denser energies from the earth's planes, and help us heal and wake up into the oneness of the new earth, full-on fifth dimensional living and beyond, actually. So this year, just 2 weeks ago, the weekend of October 23rd, was the 5th 1000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. And all I can tell you is that it's incredibly humbling. What I know that happened, that came forward from what I was aware of and what people were reporting to me, who are rather gifted people, I know that far more happened than that. But again, I don't need to know the whole thing because it'll probably overwhelm me. So what I'm going to share with you now is from a collection of reports from some gifted cosmic shamans, nature spirit mystics, and others who also serve Mother from different continents. They live in different continents: Australia, South Africa, North America, Europe, along with sharing from my personal experiences. Though that my role that day of October 23rd was to be as still as possible and hold space at my main altar. Plus do some administrative stuff. Emails were coming in, etc. But that was, pretty minor. So most of this that I'm about to share may seem incredulous to many, if not most of you. Yet Mother Gaia is insisting that I share this to help more humans realize that there's far more going on here on Earth than what the great majority of humans are aware of, and what most humans have been taught to believe in. And she wants us hugely to shed our cultural conditioning, hugely shed the mental constructs that have dumbed us down in the dominant Western culture, and understand that we humans share this planet with a tremendous number of intelligent beings, many in the spiritual multidimensional realms. So trees are incredibly intelligent beings. Even stones have incredibly intelligent wisdom. Crystals, those are in the physical realms more so. But then there are many who exist in the multidimensional realms that most of us don't see in the 3D realms on the planet. But these are beings who have been here long before humans evolved. And they are keen to have humans remember them and reconnect with them and help co-create this new earth together as partners, to shed the dominant Western mindset of humans are the most powerful, most brilliant, most intelligent, top species on the planet. No, that's not the truth. And to also give more awareness to the tremendous amount of who are supporting Mother in this new earth emerging. It's just really tremendous. So an example of us understanding a broader awareness of what's happening on the planet these days that involves these multidimensional beings that are here on Earth, is that just about all the chaotic weather patterns that we're experiencing, hurricanes, fires, floods, typhoons, etc., are not only being influenced by rising CO2 levels, people call it climate chaos, climate change, but they're also being amped up by powerful nature spirits and elementals, depending on how you define those terms, who are ramping up the energies in different regions of the world to clear the denser energies out to facilitate the rising of the new earth energetics. So we have to get out of our little box of thinking. It's kind of narcissistic, to put it mildly. And Mother wants me to share a lot more here about what happened 2 weeks ago with the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid to give you an example of all the different realms that we live on Earth with. So first off, during the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid that weekend of October 23rd, there were many, many spiritual teams supporting both from the Earth's multidimensional planes and from off planet, as in millions of beings, and I'm not exaggerating. Plus, other people that I don't even know messaged me from different countries beyond the ones who were sending me their reports to share what they experienced in doing ceremony as part of the grid, that it was beyond words. It was powerful, it was amazing, it was shifting, or they couldn't even put it into words. People, like one from Germany who had to have, I don't know, Google translate her German message into English to me, because she was like, I don't know what happened, but it was beyond words and I need to know more about you. She sent me this email and I responded to her. I was very touched. Also during that weekend, there were cosmic shamans who were helping to weave the energetics of what was happening with all the ceremonial energies and the spiritual team supporting everything we were doing. And one cosmic shaman reported to me just before that Saturday, that Friday night, that anyone who truly understands that life is sacred and shows gratitude to the great mystery will energetically resonate with what was about to play out with the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. Truly, it's humbling. So the first ceremony of the whole grid was on the beach in Dunedin in New Zealand at sunrise. And that is where the sun first rises when we think about the first morning and the first place in the world that receives sunlight as we go around the time zones around the planet. And those beautiful women did a powerful ceremony where they wrote the names of 1,000 goddesses into the sand, covering a good kilometer of the beach there, so that the waves would wash the energetic divine feminine energies of all these goddesses into the ocean waters, and those energies then flowed from there around the world. The last ceremony was in Hawaii on the west side of the big island on the beach at sunset. Very high spiritual energy there, would even attracted strangers on the beach to join them in the ceremony. So you can see that already Mother's plan was to start with sunrise of that day in New Zealand and go all the way to sunset in Hawaii. Both beaches on the Pacific, both helping to convey and activate the oneness energetics of the water, because the water in the Pacific, all the waters of the world got activated that day. I mean, there was so much happening. So the global grid went around the world from one Pacific beach to another. And also that day, there were other groups of grids that were woven in spiritually, energetically with us, including the Net of Light Grandmother Circles led by Sharon Mackerlane. A number of women were at a weekend event retreat at the Ghost Ranch in New Mexico. They were connected with our global grid, as in our global grid, the one that Mother asked me to focus on. There was a tree celebrations grid. There was a woman who works closely with the unicorns announced a few days before that October 23rd would be Unicorn Day. And we'll get to the unicorns in a moment. No coincidence with these things. And October 24th was Guan Yin Day for the Vietnamese Buddhist community. They call her Avalokiteshvara. Not really saying that right. And I know there were more grids of ceremony, prayer, love retreats per what Mother is telling me. I don't know. It's overwhelming, probably all the numbers that were tied in. So these different grids were activated that day, and also in the prior days leading up to October 23rd, including the, if I can say this, the essential spiritual framework of the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, which is tied in very tightly with Gaia's oneness grid. So the dolphin grid was activated, the whale grid, and I reached out to a good friend, Linda Shea, who's like the dolphin ambassador on the planet, if she would contact the dolphins and the whales and convey the very explicit invitation from Mother Gaia to have them be involved that weekend. And of course, you know, they said yes. I can see the dolphins leaping in my third eye right now. And the whales are, yeah, It's beautiful. So also there's a nature spirit grid around the planet. And yes, nature spirits actually exist in the earthly multidimensional planes. They are not fiction, as we've been taught. They're quite powerful beings. And the nature spirits ask for all the ceremonies of the goddesses, part of the grid, to invite them in, and especially to invite in the wounded nature spirits, so that the collective goddess energies of the ceremonies and the global grid could offer them healing. They wanted us to help heal them and heal them into the new earth energetics as part of it too. And Cornelis Jan Couperus in Friesland on the North Sea in the Netherlands is a very, very close friend of mine, extraordinary nature spirit, mystic friend and wizard. His spirit teams that day had asked him in advance to organize not a goddess ceremony, but a nature spirit celebration, which is just perfect for him. And he sees nature spirits and communicates with them very clearly and works with very high level ones. And it's truly humbling for me to be one of his friends and to work closely with him. And by the way, a little FYI, Cornelis and I are going to be co-leading a Reconnecting with the Nature Spirits Enhanced webinar this coming winter, so stay tuned on that. But anyway, the night before, on October 22nd, Cornelis messaged me and said there were huge, huge numbers of nature spirits starting to converge onto the center, at the center where he lives with his partner, which is an animal rehabilitation center right on the North Sea. And they were coming from as far away as the Slavic nations. He had never seen that before. And it became a huge party then that day, that Saturday. And it was also a healing station for them at his center, as they actually had, Cornelis set it up as a sacred fire ceremony. And he had laid out an altar to the nature spirits, which he knows really well how to do, with all sorts of gifts for them, colorful glass and beer and cookies and a huge crystal, to make it very high vibrational. And the beer, by the way, the nature spirits will imbibe the energy from any food gift we offer them or drink. They don't necessarily drink it. That's a total aside. Anyway, the elves of Andromeda apparently took over the coordination of his celebration and told him to just be still and relax and hold space. And they set up healing stations, more of them, for the wounded nature spirits. And the Slavic elves that he had been coming in the night before, when a woman from the Ukraine showed up, totally unbeknownst to Cornelis that she was going to come, and she offered her blessing to the sacred fire, as I understand it, everybody who was there on the human realms saw the fire leap out of the raised fire dish that was above the ground onto the ground for a minute and then go right back into the dish. This is what happened in front of them physically. And this was the Slavic elves showing their love and blessings and gratitude to the ceremony and all the great healing that was happening there. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I also live by that credo. You can't make this stuff up. So another cosmic shaman friend reported that there were many healed nature spirits who received healing at our goddess ceremonies, who then turned around and set up their own healing centers for more nature spirits. No longer wounded, they have come to serve Mother more powerfully than before to support the healing of more of their kindred nature spirit communities. And part of what they were doing was to help all these nature spirits heal and shift from the old earth energetics into our new earth energetics to help us usher in our new earth full ascension as a big co-creative team. And again, these other grids of energy, you know, nature spirit grids, dolphin, whales, etc., beyond Gaia's oneness grid that humans are invited to focus on, were all interwoven and activated sort of simultaneously, amplified with so much more quantum divine love, infused by the divine feminine energies that we were invoking in all of our ceremonies. There's so much love. It's just hard to put into words. So another group talk about the unicorns. And yes, they exist too in the multidimensional planes. They are not fiction. I got a report from one gifted friend that the unicorn queen was overjoyed with all that happened. And unicorns during the day at all of our ceremonies were actually all over the world blessing our womb hearts in the ceremonies with their golden horns. I kid you not. And Mother Gaia had asked me back in the spring, in the first stages of planning for this global grid this year, to focus on our womb hearts and to support women and men too, because they have them in their energetic plane, in our aura, to support women and men to remember and clear their womb spaces, to heal them, to start to awaken our womb hearts, to connect our womb hearts also with Mother Gaia's womb heart and the creatrix's womb of creation in the universal realm. So we were a grid of womb hearts supported by the unicorns and all the other teams. And if you go to some other videos on this channel on YouTube, you'll see some of the interviews I did with some wisdom keepers and also a meditation that Mother and the creatrix gave me to help women focus on their womb healing and womb heart activation. And of course, the unicorns knew that we had this focus, as Spirit knows everything. So they were offering us blessings. And a lot of women, I'm imagining, had felt some shifting and healing in their womb spaces who were part of these ceremonies after the ceremonies took place. I'm certain of that. So in addition to what the unicorns were giving us, they also were receiving healings from us. And that played a big role in the whole weaving of energies and healings happening that weekend, which is more love. It's more quantum divine love to raise the energies on earth and help us all heal. And there was a report afterwards that the unicorns would like to send their gratitude to all participants of the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid. So please take a moment, if you did ceremony that day, to allow that gratitude and love to come into your hearts, because unicorns are beautiful, beautiful energies and conscious beings in the spirit planes. Okay, I need to take a sip while you're taking in that love and gratitude. Okay, the next group. Again, this is me trying to compartmentalize a bit. The dragons. So yes, the dragons exist too. They're not what we were taught they were, as scary monsters that will fry your house with their fire. Maybe some wounded ones would do that, but there are many, many, many beautiful dragons. And Mother Gaia loves her dragons. And the galactic dragons actually were the ones who first created the ley lines on Earth when Earth was first created. So they are one group of dragons that's have a real love for the earth and want to support us. So that day, the dragon realms were running energy and healing ley lines so that Mother's meridians around the planet would flow better. Energy would flow better. Again, clearing the density from the earthly realms. And beyond the ones who are working on clearing and healing ley lines, others were holding very high frequency spiritual energy in various levels of Earth's multidimensional planes in divine plan alignment for the weekend and the new Earth energetics coming in more and more strongly. And there was a huge involvement from all sorts of different types of dragons, both on and off planet. Some even came from very far out in the universal planes too, from very high spiritual frequency dimensions, crystal dragons, etc. And a fire was tended by the dragons, which burned bright in the multidimensional realms of the earth, clearing the energies that weekend, fueled by all the energies of our ceremonies and all the other beings that were joining our ceremonies, supporting Mother. So it was even more love, quantum divine love. It was just mind-boggling. So in some parts of the world, the weather was very stormy that day or the night before, and I don't have a full track of what the weather was like all over the planet. That'd be a bit much to track. However, I got reports from South Africa, from Ireland, from the Netherlands of really stormy, full-on weather. And this is the clearing of the denser energies from Earth that was taking place prior to the grid of the October 23rd being amplified. And Mananamek Lear, who goes by different names in different traditions, that's a Celtic word for him, name for them, and others who are very high level nature spirits were working very hard, including Ymir, who is the very first nature spirit on Earth. He's considered the foremost one, very, very involved in helping to clear energies that day with pretty stormy weather, along with high level sylphs, and et cetera, et cetera. Again, I'm not going to go into all that too much, but this was a part of what was happening that weekend to clear the denser energies, to allow the grids to be activated even more effectively. In addition, owls were showing up to different people around the world, in South Africa and Europe. Even like 10 days before the event, a great horned owl was in the tree right here outside my window for about 20 minutes, which I knew was a message. The owls were asking us to call in their energetics of wisdom and of stillness. And they still are asking us to call that energy in because we're so chaotic and we're not necessarily wise as a global culture of humans. But this is important animal medicine to tap into these days. And there's so much trauma, drama in the human realms that the owls would like all of us to tap into their animal medicine and their wisdom to support us healing into this new earth, really. And this is where it gets even more humbling. A gifted friend of mine saw the Christed one holding the earth. He saw a spiritual being with that symbol of the Christ heart. And Mother told me that was the Christ consciousness holding the entire earth during that weekend. So, other teams. So all sorts of seen and unseen ones on the spirit planes were invited to drink in these ceremonial energies and benefited more than we thought or even knew was capable, those of us who had any sense of what that might be. And most of us humans, even the most gifted cosmic shamans, don't know who these beings are, I'm hearing. We also had many visitors of 1000% luminous love helping out. I was trying to type 100 and Mother said, no, 1000. So this was a true celebration in spirit of one family, all realms serving the highest good. So what was going on Earth as part of the 1,000 Goddesses Gathering Global Grid was broadcasted far and wide, way out into the multidimensional planes, far out into the universal realms. And they showed one cosmic shaman friend of mine, many in a distance, holding space, eagerly tuning into the news of what was happening that weekend, the happenings and developments spearheaded by the global chain of ceremonies. And that same cosmic shaman who shared that with me reported that she felt hearts opening up globally. It was like a domino effect, really. And Gaia was ecstatic and dancing. And now I'm going to read a longer report from a remarkably gifted Gaia Mystic implant communicator, nature spirit communicator, who's based in Australia. She sent this to me the next day or the 2 days following. Hi, Mare. I thought I would share the spirit journey for yesterday's ceremony with you. She was guided before that weekend that she would do a spiritual journey, like a shamanic journey. So she said, Mother God and the two Marys, being the Virgin Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Mother Gaia were getting me ready for a few days with many spirit gifts, food, and drink. And yesterday they called me to the beach, yesterday being that Saturday, October 23rd, they called me to the beach at the edge of the ocean of love where we sometimes meet. They garbed me in a beautiful white robe, which was illuminated from within, especially over my heart and womb area. They also gave me white light armlets, headband, crown, pendant, and a staff of light. I entered spirit to drumming and greeted my beautiful spirit animals. They took me to the healing tent of my grandmother's shaman guide. All the divine ones were gathered there waiting, the Marys and Christ, my archangel guides and guardian angels, my Native American shaman guides, and more. As we greeted each other, Mother Gaia arrived and it was time to begin. She led us to the top of earth where she began to dance in ecstatic joy. White light began to pour down through her and out through her feet, spreading through the earth beneath her feet. Beautiful female angels of pink light began to gather, each carrying large pink glowing crystals. We were called to lead them to the ground to anchor the healing. We moved slowly across the earth with them as they placed healing crystals into the ground, everywhere women had been harmed, disrespected, or made to feel shame. I'm going to read that again. We were called to lead them to the ground to anchor the healing. We moved slowly across the earth with them, these angels, as they placed healing crystals into the ground everywhere women had been harmed, disrespected, or made to feel shame. Once this was done, we went back to Gaia, who was still dancing in an ecstatic trance. The sky seemed to open above her, and there was Golden Mother God smiling down on us. I think that's the creatrix. My note. She began to sing, this Golden Mother God. A single beautiful note and white light poured down over the earth. A huge band of white light angels poured down and began touching the earth, forging connections between each ceremony across the earth. Rivers of white light formed, encircling the whole planet and within and without in all dimensions. It glowed and pulsated with life. I looked at Gaia dancing, and rainbow-like flames began to rise above her. They took me to see the whole earth from above, enfolded in a beautiful, living, pulsating rainbow aura. It was then time to come back from spirit, the work done. It was a very beautiful journey. So she ended it by saying, I want to thank you for inviting me to join your ceremony, because Mother had nudged me to invite her specifically. It has been a catalyst for connecting with more nature spirits, and Aurora, the mountain goddess near here, where she lives in Australia. I've written a post about her in our group if you'd like to know more. She has a group on Facebook. I hope you didn't mind me sharing this quite long message with you. It didn't feel right to keep it to myself. Much love. Oh my gosh, of course I wanted that report. So, wow, I have to take a breath here. Everybody, let's take a deep breath. So Mother Gaia and her councils are so ecstatic over what happened that weekend. And they're holding all of us with so much love, along with so many other beautiful spirit teams serving her highest good for divine plan alignment. All of us who heard the call, felt the call, and showed up and did ceremony. Because every bit helps bring the realms closer, the veils thinner, and ascension quicker. So well done. All of us, we're the ground crew for helping Mother, working with the spiritual realms and all the spirit team, all the well done teams and ground crew. Okay, so that completes the official report, official, whatever that means. So as I was putting this together and polishing it, I started to get all sorts of ideas of a video with photos of the ceremonies and altars, along with images of dolphins and whales and unicorns and elves. And to have this be an incredible visual report is a beautiful video. However, this Thousand Goddesses Gathering global grid work I do is pretty much a labor of love. And I live very simply. I don't have a full-time assistant. I don't even have a part-time assistant. And there are some incredible volunteers who have helped me, helped us make this happen, such as Chantal Elzinga and Debbie Wall. And along with an advisory council, I'll put their names below, of Lisa Mullins out of New Zealand, and Chantal Elzinga in the Netherlands is on the advisory council, and Mary Kearns in the DC area, Northern Virginia. But I don't have a staff, so I don't have the time and expertise personally to create that video quickly enough to get this report out to you guys, because the important thing is getting this out to you. So in another day, I actually have another meeting to plan for another global grid focused on sacred balance to take place on March 20th this winter, 2022. And this will be in partnership with Dennis Bessies, who is a beautiful Dutch man who's part angel, who's the visionary behind the Global Drums Gathering that took place on 8/8 this past summer. It was estimated that 35,000 people participated in that around the world. And the focus of this global grid, the Sacred Balance Global Grid on March 20th, will be to have ceremonies co-led by men and women, calling for the rising of the divine masculine and the divine feminine together in balance to support the healing of the wounded masculine behind the patriarchal systems that have been running so amok for thousands of years now, hundreds and hundreds of years, and to also support the healing of the wounded feminine that has been dancing with the wounded masculine for so long, all to support our new earth. So more to come on that, but I need to get going on my new projects. And there still may be a video with some pretty pictures eventually with this, but I have to find a volunteer to do that. Never mind that in the moment. Well, no, actually, I won't say that. If anybody wants to help, please let me know. So if you want to donate to support this not very small work that Mother Gaia continues to ask me to do, below is a link to a GoFundMe. And Mother's asked me it's time now for me to create a nonprofit because it's time. She has this way of saying it's time now. So on that note, hugs and big love to all of you. Thank you for watching this full video to get to this end. Thank you to all of the amazing goddesses, priestesses, women who did ceremony. And all of you who didn't register for whatever set of reasons, that's okay. I know there are far more ceremonies than the 170 some that are on our map. And by the way, if people want to know exact numbers, there were clearly more than 1,000 people who joined in the ceremonies. But the most important thing is not the number of people, it's the spirit teams that we brought forward to manifest this. So a lot of people get caught up in just the numbers, but it's really the spirit teams that were brought forward thanks to all of you and your spirit teams and Mother Gaia and her teams, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, hugs and big love to all of you. Mwah. I hope to have this bandaid off my nose next time you guys see me in a video. For real. Love, hugs, bye.